Welcome to the deep dive. So Sister Wives is back, season 19, and the premiere, it landed right on Easter Sunday. Well, it felt like a choice, didn't it?
It definitely made you look twice. The timing itself, it kind of signals we might be in for a season with a very specific story they want to tell.
Absolutely. And the bit that's really buzzing, the thing we're diving into today, is this specific chat between Kody and Robin Brown. They're actually talking about soulmates.
Yeah, soulmates, but in their, polygamist family context.
And our main source for digging into this, it's really the reaction that's bubbling up around a teaser clip, mostly seen through commentary on that YouTube channel, Reality Squad.
Right, so that's kind of our window into this.
So for everyone listening, trying to piece together the headlines and, figure out what's really going on, our mission today is to get past that surface level stuff.
We want to unpack this specific conversation, Kody and Robin, the soulmate thing, and figure out why it's hitting such a nerve, especially given, well, everything else.
Exactly, given the wider context of the Brown family right now.
Okay, so let's break down that conversation itself first.
Yeah.
What exactly are they saying about soulmates in this clip?
Okay. So, based on the commentary transcript, Cody's looking back, right, to when he first got with Robin. And he actually says, quote, "Didn't know that mom was my soulmate when I married her."
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And he asks her, "Do you remember me saying that word to you?" I didn't use the word, did I? So it's pretty direct. He's saying he didn't see her that way, or at least didn't use that term initially.
And Robin's reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kody apparently says she mocked the word.
Yeah, he brings that up, which, suggests maybe they weren't on the same page about it back then, or maybe the word itself just didn't sit right within their beliefs.
Right, the whole concept. How does soulmate fit into plural marriage?
And Robin's take, in the clip anyway, is she says she might have said it like once, but then realized how wrong it was.
So that makes you think, is there a cultural thing there? Like, does the idea of one soulmate kind of undermine the whole principle?
It could, couldn't it? The idea of equality between wives. And then Robin adds this layer. She sort of speculates maybe it's okay for her to think of Kody as her soulmate, but maybe not the other way around.
Okay, that's complex. It points to a really specific understanding of their own connection within that bigger family picture.
Definitely. And then Kody throws in this comment. He says something like, their kids, Robin's kids, find it so fun to watch you guys interact.
Ah, yeah, that comment. Seems harmless on the surface, maybe?
Maybe. But, as we're about to see, that comment lands very differently when you know the timing of when this was filmed.
Right. That's the crucial piece. With the context, the timeline, we need to establish that to really get why the reactions are so intense.
Exactly. So the YouTube commentary, it points to social media posts. I think it was the church's Instagram.
That's what was mentioned, yeah.
Yeah.
It apparently showed Aurora Brown's baptism.
And that was reportedly in May 2024.
May 2024. Okay.
Right.
But Garrison Brown, his passing was early March 2024.
Yes, early March. The commentary makes that timeline very clear.
So let's just be crystal clear here. This discussion, Kody and Robin, talking soulmates, enjoying watching their interactions, it was filmed very, very shortly after Garrison's death.
Just weeks later. And that knowledge, that loss, it just hangs over the whole thing. It changes everything.
It really does. And Sarah, the commentator from Reality Squad, she had a very strong reaction to this.
Yeah. What jumped out at you from her take?
Well, just the shock, really.
Right.
She basically said, dude, what the... she couldn't believe it. She called it gross on so many levels.
That's strong language.
Very. And she used this analogy, the Northridge earthquake. Remember that?
Vaguely, yeah.
Her point was, when something that devastating happens to you personally, like an earthquake or, a family tragedy, your world just stops. Even if the rest of the world keeps moving.
Right. It consumes everything for you.
Exactly. And so filming this, talking about soulmates, it shows this huge potential disconnect between their private grief and what they're putting out there for the show.
It's that reality TV paradox, isn't it? The cameras roll, but life, real, painful life, is happening right alongside it. And for them, losing Garrison, that would be all-consuming.
And Sarah's point wasn't just about the grief, but the optics. She said the optics of this conversation so soon after were just terrible, a bad look. She even mentioned, trying to give Kody grace over the years, particularly understanding the pain of losing a child. But this timing, it felt like a step too far for her.
Like a betrayal of that grace, maybe?
Perhaps. Or just a profound lack of awareness. She pointed out, look, these guys are reality TV veterans, 15 years.
Yeah, they know how this works.
They should know how the audience perceives things, how editing works, how timelines will look when it finally airs. She just raised massive questions for her about their sensitivity.
And that lag time between filming and airing, it creates these moments, doesn't it? Where real-world events crash into the narrative in a really jarring way.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the commentator predicted, basically, that everything from now on, the whole season, is going to be seen through the lens of Garrison's death. It fundamentally changes how viewers will interpret anything Kody and Robin do or say.
And that comment about Robin's kids finding their interactions fun, you said that was a real flashpoint.
Oh, absolutely. For the
Yeah.
commentator, it was just disbelief. How could he say that? Now,
Uh-oh.
when he has 13 other kids, one of whom they're all mourning,
The contrast is just stark.
it really is. It plays into this long-running narrative, right?
Yeah.
That Kody focuses on the dynamic with Robin and her kids, while his relationships with the other kids are, well, strained, to put it mildly.
And highlighting the fun one group is having while the others are grieving. It's an incredibly difficult image.
Yeah. And the commentary didn't just react to this clip in isolation. It connected it to past events, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It brought up times when other kids, Gwen and McKelty specifically, apparently had really strong emotional reactions to seeing Kody with Robin's kids.
Right. What were those examples again?
The commentator mentioned Gwen being upset about Kody taking Ari and Saul for their first day of school, something she felt the older kids missed out on.
Okay.
And McKelty apparently getting emotional when Kody took Aurora to get her ears pierced, again, sort of perceived special treatment.
So these aren't new feelings. This dynamic, or at least the perception of this dynamic, has history within the family.
Exactly. And the commentator felt for McKelty, imagining her having to watch this new season unfold, potentially seeing more of these kinds of interactions.
Yeah, that adds another layer of sadness to it all.
And beyond the YouTube video, there was also a Reddit comment mentioned.
Yes, someone on Reddit apparently pointed out how Kody and Robin were dressed during this soulmate scene.
Oh, how so?
They seemed kind of dressed up like it was a special-ish occasion for them.
Okay.
And the Redditor's point was, well, that could look pretty bad. Given the timing, given the strained relationships, given that Kody probably can't recall the last time he did this with most of the OG 13.
The original 13 kids. Oof.
Yeah. And that comment apparently linked it back to the deterioration of this family. And, really heavy, suggested a potential connection to the context around Garrison's mental health struggles.
Wow. So the implication is, having this seemingly romantic, special moment with Robin right after the tragedy, it could be seen as deeply insensitive to the pain the rest of the family, including Garrison, might have felt.
That seems to be the core of the criticism, yes. That perceived insensitivity.
And look, it's really important we state this clearly. We're reporting on what's in the commentary, what's being said on social media.
Exactly. We're not endorsing these opinions ourselves. Our job here is just to lay out the different pieces, the conversation, the context, the reactions, so we can understand why this is such a flashpoint.
Right, we're dissecting the sources we have.
Trying to understand why this specific moment, this soulmate talk in this new season, has hit so hard, and for a lot of people, just so negatively.
Okay, so let's recap. We've looked at the actual conversation, Kody and Robin, soulmates, the initial non-use of the word, the kids watching them.
We've put it against that really stark timeline filmed just weeks after Garrison's passing.
And we've explored those strong, critical reactions, mainly from that YouTube commentary, pulling in things like past family issues and social media takes.
And a big question that keeps coming up from all of this is about, well, appropriateness, sensitivity, optics. Is it okay to share this kind of moment, given the timing, given the tragedy?
Which kind of leads us to a final thought for you, listening. You think about reality TV, how manufactured versus real it is. You think about grief, which is so personal, so messy. And you think about these incredibly complicated family dynamics they already had.
Yeah.
So what does this whole situation really tell us about trying to live a public life when you're dealing with immense private pain? And maybe what does being authentic even mean in that kind of spotlight when every moment is potentially judged?
That's a really big question. There are no easy answers there, are there?
Not at all. Something to think about, though. Consider all the perspectives as we see how the season plays out.
Definitely. Lots to mull over.